Fernando Araujo lives a decent life as an artist and judo instructor. However, he is not satisfied and feels that he is still in search of his true calling. One evening, on his way home, he stops for a smoke in the pouring rain. After finishing his cigarette, Fernando throws it away and it slowly floats away, then falls into a sewer near the shore of Rio. The next day, Fernando meets his friend Sebastian, a civil engineer, and unexpectedly proposes to rob a bank. It turns out that Sebastian is having financial difficulties, so he is not repulsed by the idea. However, according to his calculations, the plan will require machinery, tools, and a lot of money. Fernando decides to look for a sponsor. This is how he meets another of his buddies, Debaza. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any money either, but he offers to ask his thief friend, Mario, for help. Since when is Mario friends with Debaza? Oh boy, the scene changes. Night, office, Mario flawlessly opens the safe and takes the money. He doesn't even look worried. It seems that such petty robberies are nothing to him. The next day, Fernando meets Mario in a cafe and explains his idea to him. The master thief is not interested at first, but Fernando convinces him by saying, if they pull this off, Mario will never have to steal again. He then takes him to the very same place. In the next scene, Fernando, Mario, and Debaza gather to further discuss the robbery. They plan to dig a tunnel into the bank, but a problem arises. All the rooms inside are equipped with motion sensors. However, Fernando explains that these sensors do not react to movement, but to changes in temperature. So he has created a special sleeping bag suit to help mask the heat of their bodies. The next day, the team decides to do another investigation. Fernando takes pictures of the bank parking lot behind the building before going inside with Sebastian. The latter pretends to want to open an account while Fernando discreetly photographs the lobby. Fernando is escorted to the basement for interrogation. Surprisingly, this turns out to be part of his plan. He takes the opportunity to scrutinize the room with the safes. Meanwhile, the guards check all his belongings, including his camera, but find no evidence and reluctantly let him go. It is later revealed that Fernando managed to pull a memory card from the camera, but for some reason, this did not arouse the guards' suspicion. Fernando and Sebastian forward the floor plan of the bank using the photos. The next day, Fernando applies his knowledge of geometry to calculate the angle at which they must dig the tunnel leading to the bank. In addition, it is revealed that the money the group is going to steal is insured. This means that only the bank itself will suffer losses. Later that night, Fernando and his team go down into the sewers and start digging the tunnel. The next day, they hire another man, Alberto, to take care of the escape car. However, there is still an unsolved question: how to open the 400 cells. At first, they think to use a soldering iron, but it will take a minute and a half for each cell, and in total about 7 hours. Then Fernando suggests renting a safe deposit box at another branch of the bank and studying its design. The next day, Mario goes to a branch of the same bank and rents a safe deposit box. Opening it, he scrutinizes the lock mechanism. After that, Mario and his accomplice steal a van and wait for Alberto near his helm. Soon, the police arrive at their door. The duo panics, thinking they have been exposed. However, at that moment, Alberto and his wife show up. They convince the officer that they are friends, and the police leave. Meanwhile, the group continues to dig the tunnel. One day, however, an accident occurs. The drill breaks. Fernando, though annoyed, quickly decides to buy a new tool and continue working. Mario has already invested a lot of money in the project. Later that night, Fernando visits his girlfriend and they look at the stars together. They talk about looking at the past of the stars, as it takes years for light to reach Earth. We think they exist, but they are no longer there. This thought suddenly dawns on Fernando, and he immediately heads to Mario's house. Fernando informs him that he has found a solution. The bank is well protected both during business hours and after hours, but the security measures vary. The bank doesn't have a system that can prevent both situations at the same time. Fernando suggests entering the bank through the main entrance during business hours when the safe is open, thus avoiding alarms and motion sensors. This will give the police the impression that they are facing petty thieves hunting for cash. Fernando's plan is for everyone to believe that the robbers will escape through the front door, so that no one will even suspect an escape through the tunnel. Upon hearing this, Mario gets excited. He really likes the idea. Fernando realized all this while looking up at the stars. The scene switches to the day of the robbery. All the gang members put glue on their fingers to hide their fingerprints. Sebastian is dropped off at the sewer and he sneaks in to fulfill his part of the plan. Meanwhile, Fernando and the others enter the bank in disguise before donning their masks. Mario and Debausa head to the second floor, while Fernando and Alberto occupy the first floor. At this point, a security guard observes what is happening through cameras and immediately informs the police. Fernando overhears the conversation over the walkie-talkie. Mario orders the cashier to load the money into a bag, and Alberto goes to lock the parking lot gate. When the police arrive, Fernando takes a hostage at gunpoint, threatening to kill him if the police try to break in. Afterward, he goes back inside. Once Mario finds out about this, he too grabs the woman and points a gun at her. He then orders the guard in the surveillance room to surrender. He reluctantly complies, and Mario takes away his gun and cell phone, then lets him outside. Next, the group disables all the cameras in the bank. Fernando goes into a small room and pulls back a closet. On the other side, Sebastian breaks through a wall and enters the bank through a tunnel. They then take the equipment from the machine and proceed to the next phase. In a flashback, it is revealed that Sebastian has assembled a cannon-powered device that can pick a lock in 7 seconds. All the gang members synchronize their watches, and soon Sebastian and Fernando begin opening the lockboxes. Meanwhile, police, media, and relatives of the hostages gather outside. In another flashback, it is revealed that Fernando foresaw that the police would find out about the sewer, so they built a dam in advance to raise the water level. This would allow them to get out in the opposite direction by motorboat. Meanwhile, the captain reaches a small room and eventually emerges to a tunnel opening where a bomb blocks the entrance. However, he soon realizes that the bomb as well as the weapon are fake. Unfortunately for him, it's too late. The thieves have already managed to escape. Fernando and his group leave the scene by car, destroying all their equipment. They then head to Alberto's house and divide the loot equally. Several months pass. The group enjoys a better life. But one day, Alberto's wife catches him cheating. In a rage, she reports him to the police, exposing him as one of the hell's half-millionaire bank robbers. Soon the police arrest all the thieves one by one. Alberto loses his temper. The movie rewinds 7 months into the future. Fernando is released from prison. It soon becomes clear that he had prepared in advance for the arrest scenario. He specifically suggested using toy guns so that he wouldn't hurt anyone and would get the minimum sentence. In addition, the group managed to keep most of the loot. The bank did not keep a record of the money and valuables in the vaults. It is estimated that the safe deposit boxes held about 25 million in cash and jewelry. However, the police found only 1.17 million and 8 kilograms of jewelry. Due to the lack of an official register, it was not possible to prove the exact damage. As a result, the criminals received only a light sentence.